Hi there and welcome back to Japan and to our continuing listen through to Scandal's best Scandal album that I just heard. And yeah, as I keep on saying on top of all of these videos, one thing is the fact that this is part of a track-by-track video playlist, so if you're not already, follow it using the link in the description below. And if you are following this, then you're probably aware of this anyway, but I'm going to say it another time. Unfortunately, because of the legal issues around Scandal's music, we have to react, but we can't actually do the react with you, so you just get the review. I'm recording this directly after hearing the song, so if you haven't heard the song already, or you haven't heard it recently, go have a listen to Sakura Goodbye now. You good? It's on Spotify. You can listen to it there if you want. Got it on CD maybe? We good? Okay, let's talk about this. Wow. I really like this song. I like this song a lot. I think it's got one of the fullest sounds of any of the songs on this album. It sounds really full. Again, the engineering's been a little bit up and down on this album. You know, the production sometimes has been good, sometimes not so much. But I really felt this one, there was a real feeling that it was, there was a lot of brightness, there was a lot of charm. You know, a lot of the higher pitched notes, like the hats on the drums, the cymbal sounds, they were a little bit more bright and you could feel a bit more life in this. And I'm not surprised because you listen to everything that's going on and there's so much interesting things in there, especially in the chorus, and it is a wonderful chorus. I really love the chorus for this, catchy but in a good uplifting way. And you listen to what the guitar's doing, what the bass especially doing, fantastic, really enjoyed that. To me there is just this feeling that the music in this is really... it's almost like the musicians have been allowed to run a bit more free here, like they're expressing themselves musically more. A lot of this album up to this point, as I've kind of said, I mean, I can't say this in a critical way because obviously it was so young when they did this album, it was so long ago, and it was a debut full-length studio album. It was kind of clear that they were... they were kind of doing it in a simple way. There was nothing too showy. It was kind of intelligent, clever, there were nice touches, but this album isn't too showy, and that's not a problem for me at all, so long as what's being delivered in a simple way is being delivered well and cleverly. And good arrangements have been one of the big staples of this album, which we've pretty much got to the end of nearly now. It's something where this was the first real example where, except for actually the second track, track 2 was kind of like this as well. So this and track 2, the second track and the penultimate track, you could really feel the musicianship getting kind of fun and a bit more loose and a little bit more experimental, but not in a sort of crazy way, just they're playing around doing kind of things that a little bit more musically expressive. So in the guitar it could have just been a strum-along chorus, but you listen and there's actually quite a lot of guitar work going on there. It's a little bit distorted, so it's not so clear, but you can hear that she's doing more than just strumming. And the bass line's fantastic. Tomomi's really stepping up on this one. Vocal line's beautiful. I think her voice is coming across brilliantly, and there's some great harmonies in the background, really exemplifying a lot of the strongest points of this album. And to say that, it does also match another thing, in that this has the feeling of some of the more uplifting and emotional songs that have occurred in this album, but it also does it in a way that rocks almost as hard as anything else in the album as well. This does just kind of have a lot of the best qualities of the album present in this song. And it has something that I personally like, and I wish there'd been more of. Now, I'm always someone who talks about songs being tight. I like a song to be tight and, know not to outstay its welcome. We can always press play and listen to it again if we want to. But this had one of those endings I really like, where it goes to sort of like an instrumental ending where they just kind of like swell all of the little themes and things that have been happening around into like a little harmonious play out. And that was brilliant because you had the thing. I can't remember what the pitch was. Did it much higher there. Sakura Goodbye thing. The vocal thing was being repeated over the top. The instruments were playing out. There was a nice sort of drum beat going on it. The bass was doing a lot of sort of playful. It wasn't a bass solo, but it was playing around. It was walking in different places and harmonizing with the rest of the tune in different ways. That last sort of 20-30 seconds was brilliant. And actually, I could have just listened to them play that out for a long time, because it had hit this like really good bit. It just sort of really had this crescendo where it was hitting this stride and just playing out beautifully. So I really loved the ending of the song, actually. It was a great way to cap it off. And what really makes me surprised is this was such a good like an example of everything that had come before in the album. It was such a good summing up of the album, and with such a strong ending, that the fact this is not actually the last track, but there is one more to go, Kagero? Yeah, Kagero. It's one of those ones I'm checking I'm pronouncing it correctly, because I'm reading it using English characters. which is really weird when you're reading Japanese and you're doing it with English characters. I keep on saying this, but it actually is. Please, if you're learning Japanese as well, tell me if you disagree. But I think when you're learning Japanese, it's just easier to read it from Japanese. Anyway, enough waffle about that. This was such a good ending to the album that the fact it is not the ending of the album now has me slightly worried, because I cannot see how they can end the album better than they just did there on the penultimate track. So I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, Kagero basically says it's an album mix, so I'm assuming this was a single. I should point out that I did accidentally click on something that showed me a list of the singles that came from this album. And I'm just going to be clear, I didn't read them because, like I say, I don't like to pre-research. I like you guys to tell me all the information. But what I did see is that this album produced 7 singles. It's a 13-track album. That means over half the songs were singles. It's a bit much, but hey, like I said in the first track when I started doing this review, one of the reasons I really wanted to come back to this on hindsight and after talking to all you guys, or like on our community here and on the Discord and the Reddit, is the fact that this was something, when it came out, I couldn't go anywhere. Like in 2008, 2009, when this came out, I couldn't go anywhere without seeing their faces and that same picture of them in their sort of black hair, schoolgirl outfits on the front of every magazine cover, like the little cardboard cutouts of them in every CD shop. They were everywhere when this came out. So I guess 7 singles, supply and demand, but wow, more than half the tracks are singles. Jeez. So anyway, we're going to be moving on to Kagero. I really enjoyed Sakura Goodbye. I'd recommend it to anyone. It's got emotion, it rocks along, it's got detail, it's interesting, it's definitely got replay value. I'll be listening to it more, and I think it definitely deserves that. And when I come to do my, after the final track, when I do the last video, which is always the album conclusion on these track-by-track reviews, I will definitely be making some sort of mention of Sakura Goodbye. I'm pretty sure of that. Anyway, for now from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to reading all your comments. I'll reply to as many as I can, but sometimes it can get a bit difficult. One thing you know is I definitely will read them, and I will try to follow up on everything. Whether it not being a reply, it might just be in taking what you say forwards into my future reviews. But seriously, looking forward to see what you guys can tell me about this album that I don't already know, and seeing what your opinion is on this song also were. I think it's a brilliant one. So Kagero next, so please make sure you're following in the description linked playlist for the track-by-track Scandal review. And until then, I'll see you soon. So for now, ciao ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.